Hello my dear students and viewers. This is Puranjay Biswas, Professor and Chairman, Department of English, Dhaka College, affiliated with the University of Dhaka. I welcome you to my today's lecture on Robert Frost. And this is from Honours 4th year syllabus. Today I want to deliver my lecture on Robert Frost. Robert Frost was an outstanding American poet and a national celebrity. In fact, Robert Frost was a farmer, high school teacher, and above all, he was a poet of the early 20th century America. He was named Robert after the name of the famous Scottish poet Robert Burns, according to the desire of Frost's mother. Then he was named Lee after the name of General Lee, and it was named according to the desire of his father. Thus, Robert Frost was named Robert Lee Frost. He was born in 1874 in San Francisco in America. He lost his father at the age of 11, and his mother was a Scot and she was a female poet. Robert Frost had to spend his early life through hardship, working from mills to newspaper reports. Robert Frost, along with his mother, left San Francisco and came to New England and settled down in New Hampshire. And he had to leave his town, San Francisco, because of his poverty. His mother started her job as a school teacher to maintain the family. Robert Frost also worked hard in his early life to stanchion his family. He studied in Harvard University, but he left university without any graduation. Robert Frost started working in farming, but he left his farm, sold it, and went to England to begin his career as a poet. Within a short time in England, he was very famous as a poet. Now, what are the major works of Robert Frost? His major works are A Boy's Will, North of Boston, Mountain Interval, West Running Brook, A Further Range, and so on. His most popular poems that we often recite are the death of a hired man after apple picking, stuffing by wood on a snowy evening, the road not taken, verses, mending world, and so on. If we want to discuss Robert Frost as a poet, we have to focus the major themes of his poetry. Major themes of his poetry are regionalism, realism, pastoralism, naturalism, humanism, modernism. And what are the main elements of modernism that we get in his poetry? He deals with human psychological crisis, conflict, loneliness and isolation. As a poet, Robert Frost was very much outstanding. If we think of his popularity, we can mention that Robert Frost was awarded the Pulitzer Prize for 4 times, and it is only Robert Frost who was awarded Pulitzer Prize 4 times. Not only that, he was nominated as a Nobel laureate for literature 31 times, though he was not awarded the Nobel Prize. He was also honored with the membership of American Academy. He was awarded the Gold Medal of Honor. Thus, Robert Frost emerged as a national celebrity. I want to mention that Robert Frost was invited to recite his poem, The Gift Outrage, in the inauguration of President Kennedy. Robert Frost came back from England and started school teaching, but in his last phase of life, as far as you know, he spent his life peacefully in farming. In fact, Robert Frost is called a New England poet. Particularly, a New England poet dealing with rural life. A major theme of his poem is the inseparable relationship between man and nature. Robert Frost's man is never detached from nature. So nature or rural setting is a fundamental aspect of Frost's poetry. As we find New England people, New England farmers, as you find natural setting of rural New England, very often he is called the regional poet or New England poet. But at the same time, we have to mention that we also find universal appeal in his poetry. So it is said that Robert Frost's poetry is local in color but universal in appeal. My dear students and viewers, Robert Frost is different from other American poets in this sense that he uses very simple, colloquial language in his poetry. His language is taken from everyday life, though there is some obscurity in his diction. Very simple, but it is sometimes highly symbolic and philosophical. Another important factor that we find in Frost's poetry is that he has taken a very simple incident from rural country of New England, but this very simple, common incident has been transformed into a universal and general epic. Robert Frost is different from other poets of nature. We can compare and contrast Robert Frost's attitude to nature and other poets like Wordsworth, Shelley, Coleridge, and Keats. Robert Frost deals with realism. We find mysticism, pantheism in attitude to nature of Wordsworth. Wordsworth is a mystic, pantheist, and he mystifies nature, idealizes, philosophizes nature. On the contrary, Robert Frost treats nature from a realistic point of view. He doesn't philosophize or mystify nature. Not only that, if we think of Shelley, Shelley idealizes nature and symbolizes nature. Robert Frost is also different from Shelley because he shows nature as an integral part of human life, human affair. Though sometimes he uses nature as symbol, he doesn't idealize like Shelley, or he doesn't mystify or philosophize like Wordsworth. My dear students and viewers, Robert Frost still has a great appeal to the readers all over the world. Robert Frost still lives in the hearts of the readers who still love nature, who still love rustic life, country life. Thank you very much. Goodbye. See you next.